everyone, it's Elaine. In today's video, I wanted to talk about a really interesting topic, and that is the relationship or the link between growing up in the high control fundamentalist cult-like religion, or religious cult, I should say, and the relationship between growing up in that type of strict environment and then being drawn to emotionally unavailable partners in the romance realm. So oftentimes when you grow up in a really strict, high control, authoritarian religion where the premise or the main doctrine is that this is the only true church, this is the one true church where you're gonna receive salvation and you have to have membership. That was the type of church that I grew up in. When that is promoted and then you are indoctrinated in that type of rhetoric and that type of dogma, sometimes your caregivers who are really devout in the faith are going to prioritize their salvation and their membership over their children. Okay, so how that can be a negative impact for your children is if their emotional needs aren't being attuned to, aren't being met, or their requests for validation are being dismissed. Okay, it's very similar to growing up with an alcoholic parent, because there are deficits in empathy and there are deficits in emotional attunement, especially when their membership and their faith is prioritized over all else, including family members. And so what happens to the child sometimes when they when they grow up, they might be drawn to emotionally unavailable partners without them even being aware of it, because what they grew up with was so familiar and normalized to them that when they do grow up and they do start dating or delving into the romance department, they might have a natural inclination to stay in unhealthy relationships longer than they should, and that could play out for years, decades. One of the theories that I really like to explain this phenomenon is psychodynamic theory. So psychodynamic theorists or therapists that use this framework will work with clients who have had some type of, childhood trauma, and they will try to bring to light the unconscious patterns that are being played out in their adult relationships. So if we apply this to growing up in a religious cult or a fundamentalist authoritarian religion, the dynamics within the home, especially if your parents prioritize their membership and their salvation over their children's needs, their attachment and security needs, that dynamic can be played out unconsciously in the child's adult life. Okay, and psychodynamic theorists help the client become aware of this pattern and become aware of the intergenerational trauma so that they can break the patterns and so that they can prohibit, certain unhealthy and maladaptive processes from being, repeated. And, it can happen. I'm not saying that all families are going to experience this in high control fundamentalist religions, but it is pretty common. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that link and that connection. If this resonates with you, or if you have any comments, inquiries, ideas about what I just spoke about, feel free to leave a comment below, and I will talk to you later. Bye.